Hi guys, it's Jessica here, and today I'm participating in a collab called The Money Stories, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Jamie over at The Not So Ordinary Wife started the collab, so a big thanks to her for inviting me to be a part of it. And if you guys haven't checked out her channel, make sure you go over and do that. She has a really awesome channel with lots of budgeting tips and home organization. And make sure you check out all of the other YouTubers that are participating in this collab. It's a really great group of people, and I'm sure they all have a lot of interesting things to say about these questions. So let's get started and we'll jump right on in. The first question is, what is the best money decision I have ever made? This was a fairly easy one for me. I would say the best money decision we ever made was foregoing a wedding. We decided to get eloped, so we didn't have a big fancy wedding, and we did that so that we were able to buy a home. We had a certain money set aside, and it was pretty much either have a wedding or have a down payment on a house, and it just made more sense to us to go ahead and buy a home at that point in our lives. So we skipped out on the wedding, bought the house, and then what we did was we hosted a huge party and invited both sides of our family, and we kind of celebrated our marriage and our new home all in the same time. So that was the best money decision we've ever made. It's been all downhill since there. As you know, we are in $50,000 worth of debt, but hey, what can you do? All kidding aside, that was definitely our best money decision. We've made a lot of bad ones since then, but we are working on digging our way out of that. The next question is, what is the worst money decision we ever made? And that would be living beyond our means and racking up our credit cards. Now, we sold our first house, we made a pretty substantial profit on it, and then we bought another home that was a little bit beyond our reach, but we thought we could make it happen, which we have, but it was a fixer-upper. And because this home was a little bit out of our league, we didn't have a lot of extra money to put into the home and fix it up. So what we did to make that happen was we started putting everything on our credit cards. And before we knew it, we were in $30,000 worth of debt. Now, granted, technically it's an investment because we put it into the house, but we're not looking to sell it, so really we can't even make that excuse. So yes, the worst money decision we ever made was racking up the credit cards. In hindsight, we should have just saved and done projects as the money became available. Lesson learned. The next question is, what is the most embarrassing money decision we have ever made? This is actually so embarrassing I almost didn't want to even admit to this, but what the heck, I'm trying to be as transparent as I can, so I might as well be honest with you, because this was very embarrassing. So when my husband and I bought our first home back in 2009, I believe it was, we qualified for the first time home buyers credit that was available during that time. So after they initiated that tax buyer credit, they put some stipulations on it where you had to live in the home for 2 years. So when we sold our home, we thought it had been 2 years, but we were actually 2 months shy of 2 years, so we had to end up paying that tax credit back. Luckily, we didn't spend it and we had the money available, but are you serious? Someone's giving you free money to buy a home for the first time and you managed to screw it up and have to pay it back? I mean, we were totally devastated. Like I said, at least we had the money to pay them back. It could have been worse, but you know, you're turning down free money. I mean, it doesn't get much more embarrassing than that. So, shame on us. That was completely stupid. The fourth question is, what is the most expensive or stupid thing I have ever purchased? I had a bit of a difficult time with this question. We racked up our credit cards, but we didn't buy like frivolous purchases with them. I mean, it was all materials for the house. We weren't out buying like fancy china or new clothes. So we didn't buy brand new cars. My husband's a mechanic. We've always bought used cars. So Jamie said most expensive / stupid thing. So I couldn't think of something expensive or excessive that we bought that I regret, but something that I do regret that was totally stupid that my husband and I used to spend a lot of money on is cigarettes. We used to be smokers. We were sort of like casual smokers, like on the weekends when we went out and had drinks, but we probably went through a pack a week between the two of us, which when I think back on it now is just like totally mortifying. Not only because of how much money we spent on it, but we're spending money on ruining our health. And I'm such a health nut now, like it just totally horrifies me when I think back to that time in our lives. I don't know what we were thinking, but it was a totally disgusting habit, and I am completely embarrassed to say that I was a smoker and that I used to spend money on that. So that is one embarrassing thing that we used to spend our money on. And the last question was, once I was so broke, ... So this story could have easily gone along with one of my most embarrassing money moments, but I thought it fit better into this question. So the story goes like this. My husband and I had a wedding to go to, but at the time of the wedding, we were living off of our credit cards. We weren't acting our wage. We lived off our credit cards. Money would come into our account, but it was all accounted for. So we didn't have any savings. There was never any money left over at the month. And we had this wedding to go to, and we needed a wedding gift, and we didn't have any cash to put into the card. So luckily we had this coin jar down in our basement that we had been collecting coins in for quite a few years. So we went to the bank, and it ended up being, I think, about $200 worth. So we cashed it in and were able to put money in the envelope. But seriously, like, how embarrassing is that? We didn't even have a couple $100s in our bank account to keep us afloat. So that was actually, I don't think I've talked about that yet, but that was actually our sick and tired of being sick and tired moments. I mean, there were quite a few of them, but that was the most defining one. And that was sort of what kicked us into high gear, like, hey, something needs to change because this isn't working. So while it was a terribly embarrassing and defeating moment, I wouldn't take it back because it is what got us on the path that we are on today, which is digging ourselves out of this hole that we're in. So thanks again to Jamie for coming up with this collab. I thought it was really fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody else's answers are. So make sure you go and check out all of the other YouTubers that are participating in this collab. I will link all of their channels and videos down in the description box below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye, guys.